Hello and welcome to Brutally Honest Level Review with your host, NateFH, the Geometry Dash YouTube series where I give my brutally honest review of levels with no sugarcoating. And in this week's video, we will be reviewing Ruta Del Sol by TroxP1 and more. Remember to subscribe for more level reviews and make sure to comment what level you want me to review and I'll pick one out for the next episode. Ruta Del Sol is an easy game created in 2.1 by TroxP1, i12, Plant Point, Aqua Arum, and Polly. I'm very sorry if I screwed any of your names up. This level is widely known for winning the World Gauntlet contest. It's really impressive that the level ended up winning the contest, as you would think countries where there's more well-known creators would win, such as the United States, Russia, France, Korea, or Germany. So seeing an underdog, such as Peru, winning is super cool. Speaking of the World Gauntlets, I still need to do them. And all the other 2.2 gauntlets. God help me. Okay, so this gameplay review may not be the most accurate. Now you might be saying, why Nate? Did you not beat it? No, I did beat it. I just kind of fluked it from 0. Fluke from 0%, let's go! Surprising considering I'm weirdly bad at long levels, or just fluking stuff in general, but I'll try to do my best. The pre-jump is mostly made up of a mini ball section with a small robot and ship section attached to it. Nothing here is too standout or bad. It plays well and works well as a pre-drop. However, it is better than most pre-drops because it's mostly ball, and ball is awesome. At the start of the drop, we get to the canonical go percent. The first section of the drop is pretty straightforward, except these two asshole fake orbs, which are conveniently marked with a big red X. Although you can probably click the second red orb and live if you do a specific double click setup. The transition to the next part's a little bit sudden, but it's fine unless you have the reaction speed of a 105-year-old woman. Other than that, the section is fine and plays pretty well. The next section includes the best kind of ship gameplay, with it actually making use of the player needing to go up and down with the ship instead of staying in one area, paired with good UFO gameplay mixed in there, which adds a nice back and forth thing with the gameplay here. In 2.2, the level is updated to have some small camera movements in the ship section here. It's not too noticeable, and it's one of the better ways to update a 2.1 level with 2.2 features. Sound effects are one of the worst, but that is a topic I will touch upon another day. Next is the break section. Both the gameplay and song slow down here. The part is pretty chill, but for some very weird reason, I died to this specific jump more than I would like to admit while practicing, but it's fine, I beat it anyway. Although I can tell that a hilariously high amount of people died to this gear when playtesting due to the big red exclamation mark with the arrow pointing down to it. The second half of the second pre-jump is a little bit more tricky with the robot times, which you do need to vary how much you need to hold that jump button down for. This is something that I wish people did more with the game mode. You mostly see it being used for micro clicks and gameplay that is still easily possible with the cube. This also includes these ship movements, which aren't super easy for an easy demon. Nothing really worth mentioning about the small build-up section. It's just there. The first part of the second drop is my favorite gameplay-wise. It's fun to go through these big bobs and weaves with the mini ship and the satisfying sync spider parts. My only complaint is that I wish you had to do something on these small slope sections. Maybe a green orb or something would work really well. The whole last section of the level flows very nicely and it's fun to play through. Who would have thought they don't need to make flow gameplay to make gameplay flow as well or even better than flow gameplay? I sure as well didn't. The dialogue of Ruta Del Sol is overall very good. It's really cool to see all the little cool references to the culture and history of Peru. This level actually got me to research about Peru. Like, what? I would have never done that on my own. It's very clear that there was a certain level of patriotism from the creators. Honestly, I wish I could say something similar about the best World Gauntlet levels from the US. Although that would have showed how massive and varied the US geography is, would have been super cool. Random tangent aside, the pre-jump starts you off in this jungle that very smoothly transitions into a cave without even needing a proper transition. My only nitpick is that there could have been something that really adds depth between the outer layer and the inner layer of the blocks. As it is, it just kind of looks flat, and we know that the inner layer of the block is supposed to be the deeper part of the block, because we can see some details in the inner layer of the blocks here. Although these really cool birds do make up for it, which are called the... okay, they're called the Andean cock of the rock. I kid you not, that's what they're called. You can go look it up yourself. Other than funny bird names, this part has a really sick frame-by-frame transition into the title card. You are thrown in some rooms with what I can only assume is a more modern traditional style of architecture, and with this colorful dragon looking fella. I think this is based off of the Virgin de la Chandeliera festival held in July. Also, I'm sorry if I mispronounced anything here or just straight incorrect about anything. I'm just trying to do my best. There's this statue I think is inspired from the ancient Incan Empire. There's this little memorial thing in the background of the last section of this part that seemingly depicts the coastal cities, tall Andes, and the tribes of the Amazon rainforests. Also, the colors in this part are very solid. The next section consists of this jungle/temple part, which looks very good. Although in the jungle part, I don't actually know what these little evil spirit things are meant to be. Next is this part that switches from day to night. In the block design of the night section, you can see these constellations that are very similar to the Incan drawings. The bird constellations in particular remind me of Va Metal from Breath of the Wild. Last section has some more Incan statues and whatnot. Then we go to the sky for the next part. This part is really cool with the floating islands. Also, this coin made me think there were coins in the level, which there isn't, so I guess this is just a logo or something. Honestly, I don't really know what it's meant to represent. I feel that there could have been more color in the blocks. For example, this Incan head might have really benefited from some cyan in the jewelry, which would have popped really well. Speaking of colors that pop, the next part goes crazy with the colors. It was enough to get me to talk about it when I was recording, which I really don't do that much. Dude, this looks awesome. I actually like how this looks a lot. The colors are nice. Oh, and this. This looked like a thumb to me when I first saw it. That looks like a thumb. The first half of the last drop is set in the 80s with the big mountain in the background and this llama on the house. This part could have benefited from a little bit more energy to match the song. Maybe increase the intensity of the blending screen pulses a little, and maybe add an effect or two on the long holds. Just like with all the other criticisms I've given so far, these are very minor, and the level is still fantastic without them. But it could have been improved with them. The level ends on this purple section that is a really cool contrast to the prior part, but similar to the last part. I feel this part could have just used a little bit more energy. Still overall looks very good with the rest of the level. The idea of a transition that has you go through the clouds on the part that takes place in Andes is just so cool. Oh, and this end screen is really sick too. Overall, Ruta Del Sol is a fantastic level with some Peruvian culture and a very fitting winner for the World Gauntlet contest. And I will be looking forward to beating this again when I get around to beating all the Gauntlet levels. With all being said, this level gets an amazing 8.5 out of 10, which makes 2 in a row with this in white space. Wow, this really makes me realize I should review a bad level. That might be fun.